There are moments in life when we feel as if we are carrying an entire mountain on our back. Unhealed wounds, unfinished dreams, unmet expectations, all feel like heavy stones pressing down on our already tired soul. We try to keep moving forward, but each step feels heavier. And then one day, we suddenly ask ourselves, why am I suffering this much? Can I live more lightly? In modern life, people may have many things: a job, fame, relationships, possessions, but they lack the most important thing, inner peace. We are bound by the past, haunted by the future, and almost forget how to live fully in the present. Suffering doesn't lie in circumstances, but in how we tightly hold on to what should be let go. The Buddha taught, this world is impermanent, what comes must go, what gathers will disperse. If we know how to let go, we will no longer suffer. But how can we let go? How can we release what has become such a familiar part of our mind? That is the very journey the Buddha walked, and also the path we can choose, the path of returning to ourselves. Not to escape, but to see clearly the nature of suffering, and from there, untie each knot in our heart. In this Dharma talk, we will go deep into the art of letting go in the spirit of Buddhism. Not to give up on life, but to live more fully, more freely, more happily, because only when we let go of what doesn't belong to us, can we truly embrace ourselves in the most gentle and complete way. To many, letting go is seen as a sign of failure, as if you no longer have the strength to hold on, not enough courage to fight, no more faith to continue. Society teaches us that the strong are those who never give up, those who dare to hold on until the end. But the Buddha's path follows another way. The Buddha did not tell us to give up everything to live in asceticism, escaping from life. He taught us to let go of what causes suffering, what leads us astray from the right path. That is not surrender, that is wisdom. Letting go of a toxic relationship is not because we don't love enough, but because we have learned to love ourselves properly. Letting go of a dream that has gone astray is not because we lack determination, but because we have realized what truly brings peace. Letting go of anger, resentment, or past regrets is not because we forget, but because we choose not to carry them anymore on the path ahead. The Buddha once said, hatred cannot be ended by hatred. Only love can extinguish hatred. That is an eternal truth, and that love must begin with ourselves. When you let go, you create space for healing. You are no longer tied by invisible strings, the strings of expectations, comparisons, possessions, or fears. You begin to understand that true strength does not lie in holding on to everything, but in the ability to let go at the right time. An awakened person is not someone who doesn't feel pain, who never falls, who never experiences loss, but one who can recognize suffering, embrace it with compassion, and then release it with gratitude. They do not try to escape from pain, nor let it control them. They simply let it go, gently, like a leaf falling with the wind. We often live as if we are racing against time. The mind constantly drifts to the past or worries about the future, while the only moment we truly live, the present, is forgotten. And it is because we do not live in the present that life feels like it passes in the blink of an eye, leaving behind a sense of emptiness, regret, and insecurity. The Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Focus your mind on the present moment. But how can we return to the present when our mind is still pulled by so many things we haven't let go of? As long as we are bound by what has been lost, by those who have left, or by what has not yet been achieved, our mind cannot rest in the now. We can only truly live when we let go of what is no longer here. Letting go does not mean forgetting. We do not forget the ones who have loved us, nor erase the memories that have shaped who we are, but we let go of the regrets, let go of the longing to change what has passed. Only then can we open our hearts to embrace the beautiful things that are present: a cool breeze, a gentle ray of sunlight, a tender hug, a quiet moment in the soul. The present never makes us suffer. Only memories and imagination can cause our hearts pain. A person washing dishes with their mind on washing dishes, that person is living. But if the hands are washing dishes while the mind is thinking of an argument, a feeling of loneliness, or an uncertain future, that person is losing themselves. The Buddha once said, "The awakened person lives as if they have died yesterday and are unsure they will live until tomorrow." Therefore, they cherish every breath. Only when living in the present can we heal. Only when letting go of the past and stopping worrying about the future can we find true peace. Something we've always thought was far away, but turns out to be right here in this moment. No one wants to suffer. We avoid it. We try everything to not face it. But in life, pain is something we cannot escape. And strangely enough, pain is the greatest teacher, showing us how to let go. When everything is still within our grasp, we often tend to hold on tightly. We cling to relationships, dreams, beautiful images of ourselves, because we fear losing them. But then one day, when everything shatters, the person leaves. The dream fades, the fame is gone. We begin to feel an unbearable emptiness. We hurt so much we can't stand up. And it's in that moment, if we are awake enough, we will see a door slightly open, the door leading to letting go. The Buddha taught, suffering is the first truth, not to make us pessimistic, but to help us see the true nature of life, so that we no longer live in illusion or delusion. And when we see suffering clearly, we can begin to trace its cause. And from there, we learn how to let go of what causes that pain. Pain does not come to destroy us. It comes to wake us up, to pull us out of the cycle of confusion. Sometimes, only when the wound bleeds, do we stop and look inside. It's in that moment that we begin to see what we have been holding on to for too long, a relationship that's only an illusion, an ideal that no longer fits, or an ego that is full of pride but also loneliness. Letting go does not come from reason. It usually comes after falling down, after long nights of tears, after days when our hearts no longer have the strength to hold on. And then, when we let go, the lightness is beyond words. It's as if we have just set down a burden we've carried for years. Pain is not as frightening as we think. Fear only comes when we refuse it, when we deny the lesson it brings. But if we embrace the pain with an awakened heart, it becomes a guide, leading us to the deep peace within. When hearing the words, letting go, many people think it means loss. It means separation. It means giving up something dear. It means living without the things that once brought us joy. But in the light of the Buddha's teachings, letting go is not losing, but a return to ourselves, to the original and free nature of the mind. Because throughout our lives, we have lost ourselves countless times. We lose ourselves in the gaze of others. We lose ourselves in trying to please someone, or achieve something. We lose ourselves in the roles we play, in expectations, in judgments, and in invisible fears. And then one day, we feel empty, no longer knowing who we are, or why we are living this way. The Buddha taught, no one can save us but ourselves. No one can walk that path but ourselves. Letting go is not rejecting life, but letting go of what is no longer truly us, so that we can return to living authentically with ourselves. When we let go of comparison, we return to gratitude. When we let go of hatred, we return to compassion. When we let go of the ego, we return to simplicity and peace. Letting go is an act of courage, not weakness. Courage to refuse to continue chasing what does not belong to us. Courage to say, I don't need that to feel complete. And courage to live an honest life. Simple yet profound, like a lake that is only clear when there are no ripples. Our minds are only still when they are not stirred by the things we try to hold on to. Only then can we see ourselves clearly, purely, without judgment. Letting go is not severing ties. It is a journey back to the clear spring within the mind, where no conditions can disturb, where we don't need to become anyone else, just be ourselves. Many people seek healing outside, a listening ear, a faraway journey, a timely piece of advice, or a modern therapeutic method. These things can help, but only temporarily. Because if we are still filled with wounds, torment, and attachments inside, then no matter how the world may shift in our favor, suffering will return in another form. The Buddha clearly stated, the mind is the root of all phenomena. A pure mind creates a pure world. This means healing is not about changing the circumstances, but about transforming the mind. When our minds can let go of fear, let go of anger, let go of the wounds that have scabbed over, then even in the same circumstances, we will see a new world. Healing is not about erasing the past. We cannot erase what has happened, but we can look at the past with new eyes. Eyes that no longer blame, no longer demand, no longer blame ourselves or others. That is when we forgive, not because the other person deserves it, but because our hearts deserve peace. Healing is when we embrace the wound with compassion, like a mother holding her sick child, without judgment, without rejection. It is simply being present, listening, and understanding. Healing is when we stop running away from ourselves, no longer seeking recognition, no longer trying to prove ourselves, no longer tormenting ourselves over what cannot be changed. Only then can we truly be free. Letting go is the path to healing, and healing is the foundation for living a gentle, awakened life. No need to force ourselves to be strong, no need to have everything to feel complete. We only need to return, to quiet ourselves, and let go little by little, like a river flowing with the current, not forcing, not resisting. We often think that love is about holding on. It's about keeping the person we love by our side. It's about protecting, worrying, sacrificing. But sometimes, in that very holding on, we unintentionally hurt both ourselves and the other person. We love, but that love is filled with anxiety. We fear being abandoned. We fear loss. We love, but in that love is control, expectations, wanting the other person to become something according to our wishes. And when things don't go as we expect, that love turns into disappointment, anger, and then pain. The Buddha taught, love without wisdom easily becomes a bondage. Loving in the right way is not letting love become chains. It is knowing that the other person is not here to fill us, nor do they have the duty to make us happy. Everyone has their own path, their own karma, and their own freedom to go through their own lessons. Letting go in love is not stopping love. It is loving with understanding and compassion, not holding on, not imposing, not controlling. It is letting the person we love be themselves, to freely develop in their own way. And if parting ways is necessary, it is knowing to send silent blessings, instead of resentment or holding on. Loving in the right way is knowing to let go of expectations, that the other person must always love us as they did in the beginning, that they will never change, that the relationship must last forever. Because everything in this world is impermanent, including love. Letting go does not make love disappear. On the contrary, it makes love clearer, more expansive, and more peaceful. A love without ownership, a love without conditions, a love that no longer fears loss. And in that very love, we no longer suffer from love, but are healed by love. From a young age, we are taught that happiness is something to be obtained. Money, fame, love, success, and so, throughout our lives, we rush forward, chasing after external things, hoping that once we have enough, we will be happy. But then, the more we have, the more we fear. Fear of losing, fear of not being able to keep, fear that others will take it away. And in the end, we realize, happiness is not in the having, but in the letting go. The Buddha did not promise a paradise. He only taught us to look deeply into the present, to see the root of suffering, and the path to end that suffering. And the first thing he pointed out is, the cause of suffering is attachment. Attachment to what is pleasurable. We suffer when it disappears. Attachment to the one we love. We suffer when they change. Attachment to our self-image. We suffer when criticized or misunderstood. Each time the mind claims, we are making our happiness dependent on something unstable. Letting go does not mean indifference or giving up. Letting go means not allowing our minds to be bound by anything. We can still love, give, and live fully, but we do so with a mind that is not attached. And when the mind is no longer bound, true happiness blossoms from within. True happiness is freedom in the heart, no longer being pulled by greed, anger, and ignorance. It is when we sit in the midst of impermanence, yet our hearts are no longer unsettled. It is when we lose something, yet do not lose ourselves. It is when we love without suffering, live without fear, and give without regret. Letting go does not take away our happiness. On the contrary, it opens the door to a deep peace, a realm that no one can touch, no condition can break. Letting go is not something far off, only for monasteries or ordained people. Letting go is a very everyday practice, one that can be practiced right in the midst of life's hustle and bustle. Each morning, before starting a new day, take a moment to look into your heart. Are you carrying worries? Are you still upset about something from yesterday? Are you expecting something today? Just noticing and letting go a little is enough to begin the day with more lightness. In work, when feeling pressure or stress, return to your breath. Mindful breathing is the bridge that takes us out of the automatic cycle of worry, bringing us back to the present moment. Instead of reacting hastily, we learn to stop, observe, and then act with a calm mind. When facing someone who hurts us, instead of resisting or avoiding, look at that person as a mirror to your own heart. They are only touching the pain that already exists within us. Therefore, instead of blaming them, turn inward and heal yourself. When someone praises you, don't be too quick to feel happy. When someone criticizes you, don't be too quick to feel sad. Everything is a challenge for the mind to let go. An unstable mind will easily lean towards praise or criticism. A steady mind will see everything as passing like a breeze, like clouds drifting by. In relationships, learn to love without attachment. Remind yourself, that person does not belong to me. They're here to teach me something, and then they may leave. Loving without holding on. This is the love of the awakened. Letting go does not happen in a day. It is a practice bit by bit, moment by moment, and each time we let go of a small thing, we feel a little lighter, a little freer. It's like climbing a tall mountain. The less weight we carry, the easier the climb, and the closer we get to the peak of peace. Life is an endless journey, and each day that passes, we continue to renew ourselves, to renew our perspective on the world. On this journey, there are times when we feel exhausted, having to face so many changes, challenges, and worries. But that is also when we need to return to ourselves. The Buddha taught, to find happiness, you must find it within yourself. Because deep within the soul, where there is no hustle and bustle of life, we will find ourselves again, a person who was once whole, a person who was once complete before the outside world began to make us forget our own radiant nature. Letting go is not an end, but a new beginning. When we let go of what is no longer needed, we return to freedom, to the inner strength to live a peaceful and fulfilling life. With each step, we understand that happiness is not a destination, but a continuous process of returning, of living in the present, of loving without expectation. Letting go is returning to our true essence, where there is no fear, no worry, no hatred. It is the place where we feel peace, freedom, and joy that cannot be taken away. Remember, life is impermanent. Nothing lasts forever. Even suffering is just a temporary flow. What we seek, what we truly need, is the stillness of the heart. When our hearts are at peace, when we let go of what is unnecessary, when we no longer cling to anything but ourselves, we will find true happiness. Walk with compassion, with love, and with a mind that is free from attachment. Only then will you truly be free. And finally, when you look back, you will realize that it is this very letting go that has guided you back home to yourself. That is the place of peace, freedom, and true happiness.